indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Dear Lord, be with us today as we deliberate this business of the county. Help us, Lord, to keep in mind what's best for our residents, what's best for those folks, Lord, that rely on us and count on us to make good decisions. Help us to be smart. Help us to be thoughtful. Help us, Lord, just as we go about this business. I'd ask all those things, Lord, in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, should have had the minutes from February 25th.
Yeah. I didn't see
You
anything.
guys see
Stan.
anything?
I
I think
think,
Tony made a couple of typo corrections, but other than that,
Yeah, I had printed them and you had changed that thing under other matters for.
Yeah, I should have changed.
But that was the only thing I picked out, so I'm good with them. I'll make a motion to approve
Second,
the
Stan,
minutes.
Doug. Motion passes. Minutes are approved. Moving on, Tony, what have you got for us?
First thing I have is the Allied Weekly Health Insurance Claims. And it is all medical. And it's in the amount of $5,080, $5,000.80.
Motion to approve.
80 cents.
second motion to
Okay.
apply.
The motion carries.
Allied.
Stan and Doug.
Next, we have the accounts payable claims that you should have received via email, and the amount on the accounts payable claims is $423,968.92.
423 what?
$423,968.92.
I checked over those myself. I did not have any questions. Stan,
Yeah, I didn't have any questions either. I'll make a motion to approve the claims as presented.
I'll second that motion.
Yeah, the motion carries.
Okay. I have the payroll AP claims, which of course are all the benefits and so forth. And that is in the amount of $348,542.89, $348,542.89.
That's specifically again, just,
Benefits that are paid to the employees.
I'll make a motion that we approve the 348, 542.89.
I'll second that.
Okay.
I guess we better pay everybody again, shouldn't we?
Yeah, because some of them carry guns. You want, I didn't get paid. I'm here.
And that is all that I have.
Nate, we're ready for you.
Just paid bills.
Oh, fine.
Good morning. Oh,
Good morning.
two items I've got here to talk about. One is the Bridge 180 bids that we opened at the last meeting. I've completed my review. I think I've sent out big copies of the bid tab. After the review of the bids, I didn't find any revisions or corrections between the bids submitted as far as the bid tab totals from each of the different contractors. I did speak with the apparent low bidder regarding the unbalanced bids. I think that was kind of the shocker for everybody, was seeing how much the difference was between the low bidder and high bidder. Not on this, but just as far as disclosure, Judy Excavating has worked on two bridges for me on the same stream in the same rock area when I was working in Wells County, and they're very familiar with the area, both the types of projects that we're doing, what's expected, and myself as a project manager. So that kind of weighed into that a bit as far as their bids. Certainly there's big discrepancies in some of the lump sums between different contractors. I had some questions about it. You'll have a bid item with $3,500 for dewatering and erosion control from Judy, who's worked out there. And you have another contractor, Pioneer, that's unfamiliar with it and bid risk, and they have $337,000. That's a big part of why you're seeing this massive swing between. So I'm comfortable with the bid variations and what we're seeing in there, but based on that, if you would agree, my recommendation would be to offer Judy a notice of intent to award. We can't award the contract officially until, because this is a community crossings project, until after that announcement's been done. But with that, he can start getting some of the documents prepared, and we'll just hold until we receive or find a notice about that out. So if you're comfortable with it, I would recommend.
Obviously, the familiarity of working with Judy in the past and with your relationship and their familiarity with the area has played to our advantage, so
Absolutely.
I would certainly make that motion.
Second.
Motion carries.
And then lastly, Bridge 44, I do have the construction agreement signed by Matt Jones from Pioneer. That is for the rehab of the Bridge 44. That's there for your signatures. Once I have that, I'll scan that in and give it back to the auditor's office to put into Gateway.
So you need a, you need.
Do we
you
need
some
action on that? Have we
that?
already taken action on
I
that?
think you've approved issuing the notice of intent to award. This would be the final contract, so.
Maybe,
it'd
maybe
probably
just
be best to go ahead and
authorize
authorize the signatures.
signature.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion carries.
And this is 200 west, just south of 224.
And I'm sure you've told us how long that road would be closed.
This one's just a rehab. I think I've got, I don't remember how many days I have exactly on that. It's gonna be 45 to 60 days.
Cause I don't know when they're gonna start, but with co-op being right there, I'm sure they've got a lot of traffic going down that road.
It's possible that they'd be going south, but they'll have access, obviously. It won't affect their access to the 224 through that, but it's gonna be probably a 45-day closure. It's very similar project to what we did on Bridge 58 there, just east of Helen's Nursery.
And I know we
That one
can't
was done.
coordinate with every business, but you know, they've got a pretty strong agricultural business right there.
Yep, so it's a fairly narrow side road for them, so only the local farmers would necessarily be using that versus those going long haul. I hate for you to be driving down to Geneva on the side county roads when there's a nice big state route to take. Right. So, but with that, that's all I have for today.
Good.
All right.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
Brad, Paul, come on up, guys.
Oh my gosh, look at that stack of papers.
Is there all permits?
Permits.
Good
morning, guys.
Who
Good
reads it
morning.
and who wants to?
Yeah, can you make copies of all those for us?
I'm glad Tony left us some extra time. That was nice of him. All right, so first though, I think what we'll do is we are opening our oil bids today, which is our oil for chip seal, oil for dust control. So
You will be ready.
I
forgot
like
my
that.
glasses.
Yeah, I got one somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I saw it this morning.
First one is from Asphalt Materials.
where's it from?
Asphalt Materials.
What company was it? Indianapolis. Indiana.
Okay, let's see, for AE 90, which is what we use for chip seal, is $1.86 and 1.868. For dust control, $1.96, 9/10, 1.969. Let's do for the fog seal, greater and less than 50% are the same price. It is $2.10, so 2.001.
What was the 80-98?
AE 90 is 186.8. And the other bid we have is from the Clink Group, Bitmat, K-Tech. They're out of Ashley.
Ashley, Indiana.
Okay, for AE 90 is 188 for $1.88, 4/10. Dust control, $2.10 even. And the fog seal is $1.95.
Both greater.
Yep.
Were those the bidders that you were expecting to see, or did somebody
Yeah,
not
so
come?
the ones
through?
we always get.
Okay.
These are the two that bid it every year.
Does Asphalt Cindy, Bitmats Ashley, does travel distance mean anything?
Well, I think they figure all that in when they figure up their price.
It's all-
I meant-
it's all
We actually have a
delivered.
representative here from K-Tech, so
Okay, so it's not something that has to come from Indy to Adams County versus Ashley to Adams County.
it'll come from wherever their depot is. So yes, one is in Ashley and one is in Indy.
Well, and the one from Indy also comes from Warsaw.
Okay.
But the bids are delivered? Is that
Yes,
correct?
Those are
that
delivered to the-
is-
That includes trucking, whatever
Yep.
the freight is.
That is correct.
Now, normally, do you accept both bids, or how do you do it?
We
what
normally
they
set both
suggest.
bids, that way if
Okay.
one gets if we get in a pinch with one or they have issues, then we can automatically go off the other without asking special permission, so.
Well, with that being said, Stan, I don't see any problem in accepting both bids, and we certainly appreciate, sir, that you're coming down and
Yeah,
sitting here.
thank you.
So I move that we accept both the asphalt materials as well as K-Tech.
I'll second that.
Motion passes.
So the next thing, let's see. Next thing, handed out the operations report last week. Steve, did you get a chance to go
I
do
did.
that?
I did.
Okay, so it's not a rush to do this, but if you guys have any questions or anything, Becky would be the one to get hold of. But if you guys are, agree to it or say it's okay, we'll just need signatures on a copy of one of these.
Any problem with that, Steve?
Nope.
I don't have problems with that.
Yeah, no, I didn't read everything in it, but.
If you ever want to know exactly, Becky, it would be a very good contact
Okay.
for.
So I assume we need a motion to approve that
So
report.
move that we sign the necessary document.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion carries.
So another, a lady from Swiss Village emailed me, and every year they have a 5K run, which I'm sure you participated in before, Doug. And this
Not
year,
anymore.
they would like to do it on April 19th from 7:45 to 9:30 a.m. And they would like your guys' permission to close 150 west from 5 south to 218, the part that goes right past the wellness pavilion there.
So moved.
Second.
Motion carries.
Yes, thank you.
There's nothing else in there, is there, that we have
No, some houses.
to let them know?
Yeah, and they
or
do it
whatever?
every year, so they've been pretty well.
And they give the houses notes, put them on their door. There's about a dozen houses. There's a little addition there, but they work very well with.
Do you have to participate in that as having a
They
car?
let you know.
They let us know and, if we're available, we help out. But they have barricades up there at 5, south and 150. And they usually have somebody there with the city at 218. So, but they're not even crossing. They go around, turn around, come back. So I don't even think they cross 218.
No, they don't. They stay on that road.
So-
Actually, Stan, when you asked about participation, I thought you was gonna ask if the sheriff's gonna run this year.
No, we don't need to get crazy. That's why you guys give me a call.
Great, Marshall, you're gonna drive it.
Yeah, I'm driving. Maybe.
Hey, I used to be able to run a 12-minute mile.
You're 12 years old. Me too.
If you run sheriff, I'll come out of retirement.
Now that's tempting, but you'd still be.
I'll be there to take the picture.
What else have you got for us?
So one other thing, we did start two more things. We did start buggy plate sales in yesterday and we sold 9. So it has started. So yeah, we're selling buggy plates and we're there 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday through Friday.
What's the cost of the plate again this year now? It's
$175.
175. Okay, it was 120, wasn't it?
Yes.
Okay, that's good.
All right. This also isn't a bad thing. I think you guys will appreciate this. This is Zayo, the fiber optic company. And they are, as you can obviously tell, they're gonna install a lot of fiber optic.
Oh, all of those are for
These
sale?
are all Zayo, so I figured we can read them and get them moving. And
Is that a new company or are they just part of another company?
no, Zayo's been around. They have a main line that goes across, is that 11 North?
I think so.
But I don't know that they've ever had like service that I know of to individuals. So I'm assuming this is what this is. They're gonna start running off that main line and feeding all these different places.
Interesting.
That's ZEO, Brad,
Zayo.
ZAY, Zayo.
Yep,
Just Zayo by itself or any other name?
Zayo Group
Group.
LLC.
You know where it's from at all?
And that is actually a good question. So I was gonna also say, I know the gentleman that contacted me was out of Texas,
Uh-huh.
but I've been in contact with him since there was so many of these and there's nothing there now. They're installing all new. Instead of going out and driving this, I got hold of their engineer firm and just, gave them some of our concerns or not concerns. This is what we would like you to do. And I had one of the guys, I contacted or reached out to one of their guys that actually is gonna be the site contact when they're here. And I've also, here's where we would like you to be in the right of way, about putting where they put their boxes in and all that. So I've let them know, we've talked to them, and I asked the first day they come out to be on the job site, we wanna meet with them. So. All right. So the first one is on Winchester Road from County Road 1200 North down to County Road 300 West.
And they're following Winchester Road,
Yes, yep,
not crossing it, following.
they're following it down. I think it was the east side, whichever side that is. That'd be
Towards
northeast.
the river.
Yeah.
North and east. Yeah.
The second one then is Winchester Road from 300 West down to 200 West. So they're gonna go right by your place.
Okay. And that's all just boring.
Yeah, most of it is boring, but they have places where they're gonna actually plow it in. Like if
Okay.
there's open spots along the field and that, they're gonna be plowing. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of boring.
Interesting. I wonder if they're gonna offer private service off that line or residential service.
I would sure hope so, because the way they're running this, it's not like they're going to any big employment or factory.
Cause I think Community Fiber runs north and south up 300 West.
Okay. So, yeah. The next one is then they're going down 200 West from Winchester Road down to 224. And then on 200 West again, they're going from 224 to 450 North.
How do they do that? Like with us replacing that bridge on 200 West, just south of 224? Do they have to just bore down underneath
Yep. They'll
the
bore
ditch
down
and
underneath
stay
the
so
ditch.
far?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. So like, well, Nate, does that affect out when they put the bridge in?
But if they're boring, my intent would be that they're boring to the outside of the right of way, so they'd be in the back 5 feet. That way they're not under a piling, to be holding a bridge up. Because the last thing I need is for us to be concerned about that during the actual foundation construction. But we have to know about that for the wing walls. When I'm doing some bridge replacements, depending on the orientation and size, my goal is to start acquiring additional right of way. That way we've got room to move them if necessary. So you'll start seeing some of the right of way requests on some of these bridge replacement projects into the future as we start moving forward.
So that won't affect whether or not we approve this permit.
No, they're in our right of way. If 15 years from now, they're in the way, you have the right to require them to move. It's the benefit of using your public right of way.
Okay.
So then, once they get to 450 North, they're going to head towards Decatur. So on 450 North from 200 West, they're going to Decatur city limits.
By Walmart. I wonder, and see, Craigville Telephone's been running lines in from the west also. So we maybe in the future might have some options on
Might have all kind of options.
fiber optic.
So then now we're gonna jump, we're going over to 200 East, where it meets 33 by the transfer station there. So they're starting at 33 and they're going south down to 300 North. And then on 300 North, they're going from 200 to 300 East. And then
So
on,
they're staying away from, cause you're doing a reconstruction on 300 north, but that's west of 22nd,
Correct,
so they're
yes.
not anywhere close to.
no. And then on 300 east, they're going from 300 north, which is the one I just read, down to 124. And then we're gonna jump again. On 650 east, they're going from 124 down to 300 south. And then on 300 south, starting at 650 east, they're going over to 700 east, which would be the state line.
It makes me wonder why they didn't just go down 33. Cause that's a state right away, probably.
Yeah,
I probably can't get the right.
I bet they get
Right
the
to do
permits from the
that.
states. I know it's a lot more difficult. Yeah. And then finally, on the state line, 700 east, they're going from 300 south down to Ohio Spring Road. But they are gonna be on our side of the road until they cross.
What rationale do they use to decide where they're going, period?
That is a very good question. I can't answer that. You know, I would think obviously on the one, since they're starting at 33, they've already got to have it there. So that's where they're starting and going.
Yeah.
So other than that, I am not sure how they choose what routes they want, but that is a question I can ask them.
Yeah, because
They-
it
like I
just
said,
seems that they, you know, obviously they've worked up this way, now they're down southeast a little bit.
Yeah.
And do they have any visible markers of where their lines are
There will be once they're in.
once they're in?
We do require them. They are gonna put, they call them handholds, but it's about half the size of this table where they make all their connections in that. And we would require them to put in those orange and white
Right,
posts
Right.
or whatever you wanna call them.
yeah,
And we've got a minimum height on them and all that. And we also, I let them know, if there's not one there and any damage that occurs when we're mowing, it's not our responsibility. Yeah.
so hopefully the weeds will be so you can see them.
So yes, there are, every one of those boxes is marked.
Well, I don't have any problem with what they're doing, Mark, or we're safe to approve all of these, aren't we? Yeah, I move that we accept all of the, what are they called?
The Zayo.
Zayo,
communication
okay, yeah,
Permits.
Yeah.
permits, that's the word. I move we accept all.
Yeah, I appreciate that too. And the other thing, I always feel better once you went out and looked at them. So if you're meeting with
Yes.
their project manager out there.
Yeah, like I said, there were so many of them and there's nothing out there now. They're gonna put it all in new. So that's why we wanna meet with them and go, okay, look, this is what we expect out of this.
Yeah.
You know, where we want you to be, you know, how you need to market. You know, and they're required to do traffic control if needed.
And if they just wanna run a line up my driveway when they come past, that'd be-
I'll see what I can do about that.
all right.
Brad, that last week you talked about that Ohio Frank, was that Frank?
Yes,
Ohio Frank Road.
I think it's only what, is it half a quarter mile from 300 south? It's not that.
Yeah, that does make you wonder why they're heading down that direction. Whether they're heading down to Wilshire and Rockford and.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
They've probably done a study and decided that this is the best direction to head, I would guess.
I wonder if it has anything to do with that grant funding, that the BEAD funding, they talk about the grant funding that they're working on out at Indianapolis. I wonder if they tied into some of that maybe for Adams County.
Possibly.
Hey, might be more.
Maybe. That, and, you know, kind of like you were saying Tuesday, and Kriegville Telephone is basically doing their work on the west side of the county.
Right,
And you know, this is gonna be more the east side now, so maybe that's another reason. I'm not sure.
well, and then Community fiber just coming pretty much straight north to south on 300 there. That's interesting.
All the broadband we can get in counties better.
Yeah, a lot of those areas, like I know especially south, there's nothing out there.
I know.
If you can.
Oh, I just now got it.
Anything to do with cell reception, I can't.
Yeah.
Southeast corner of the county.
Oh, terrible. Straight east of Geneva, don't take long.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's it. Maybe they're going from tower to tower, or maybe that
Yeah.
figures into it.
So while you guys are finishing signing, just another little note that, in 2 weeks, May 17th, road school starts at Purdue. And you guys, I think you already knew about, I believe Doug, are you coming
Yeah,
down
I'm
one day?
going down. I'm going down Tuesday afternoon
Got it.
and Wednesday session.
Okay, good. But just, it's, every year,
Good.
love to invite all you guys.
Sure.
It's
Appreciate
interesting.
that.
Making a lot of connections down there. So also in 2 weeks, we won't be here.
Okay,
I'll be here for the meeting and see you.
good, because I won't be here at all. Well, I'll be here remotely, I think, in 2 weeks. I'll be here next week, but not in 2 weeks.
Okay.
I could arrange.
Did we
to
approve
take
You said
that?
March
Yeah. Road school starts March.
Stan thinks he needs a day off too. Maybe we
It
cancel
goes
due to lack of interest.
several days.
I think it'll be fine.
And it's for all the supervisors, engineers, NDOT across. the
It's been done for
It's
decades.
usually pretty good.
I just looked this morning, and this is 111.
My son owns a bar restaurant close by there.
All roads out there.
Yeah. So, oh, so anything else?
Nope. Anything else for
Thank you,
you guys? Thanks, guys.
Okay.
Rick, what have you got for us?
We don't wanna hear about no problems now.
It will need us in.
Opportunities, right?
Couple things that are going on or have went on or what I'm working on. Everything is shredded from Golden Meadows. So the new location of where
Thank
I'm
you.
gonna be moving. You might have seen a trailer out here. That was well. He's kind of building a wall to separate what tools and stuff I have getting behind it. So hopefully it won't be long and I can start moving down there. Yesterday early, between 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, the women's bathroom in the courthouse something was obstructing it. It was overflowing, so actually I remembered I had a spot for, if you recall, I was gonna have the water fountain jetted by Vern Andrews. What I did is I canceled that appointment and had him go over to the courthouse to get that fixed. Actually, we pulled a couple stools, really didn't find anything. And I said, listen, we've had Roto-Rooter over here, kind of glad we have somebody different eyes on it. They ran the camera down. It's the black 3-inch galvanized pipe. There's a few dips and elbows. Kind of what we could see is it's flaking. The galvanized pipe they're flaking, so as debris, toilet paper and things go through there, it wants to catch. So in talking to Vern, try to go through there, it's working now. He did the best he could. He has it's like a brush or a little knife that'll go through, but we gotta be careful with that too, because we don't wanna drain too much.
I was gonna say, I thought he could ream those out clean and
Yeah.
spiff them up a little bit.
You just gotta watch. He asked me this, it was a very good question, and I don't know of any, but I'm gonna check into it. Do we have an outside clean out? In other words, I'm thinking it runs over towards the post office. But just visualize, if he reamed, that's a long distance for us to go and him to take it all the way out to the street.
Well, doesn't the city have all that mapped out?
They do. I'm gonna get with them, just to see if there is one. If not, it may be,
I want to put one in, huh?
yeah,
Yeah, I think so.
yeah. So I'll find out about that. You know, with some of these things being that I'm bringing up about the courthouse, I have a small, well, it's not small, but it's a little list here. You know, we're waiting on a compressor for the new units, for the old unit over there. They're approximately 15 to 18 years old. I'm waiting on a compressor to come in. We're gonna have to address that sometime, those units. In other words, what I'm saying is I think at some point in time, we're gonna have to put in a new heating and cooling system over there. It's a heat pump system. I don't think I would have put that in, but we need to look at it. I just mentioned the plumbing. We need to kind of look at that maybe from top to bottom too. And then there's an area there too, maybe sometime that we could go over there and I could show you guys at some point in time here, maybe in the near future. You kind of look at a little bit of foundation stuff over there.
Place I was down to,
Pardon?
is that where I was?
Yeah,
Okay,
that's where I happened, when you were over there.
yeah, I happen to be over there, yeah.
Let's look at it. And one of the things I got a little concerned about is, and I think Mike Brown has mentioned this too, Stan. Stairway going up to the back of the judge's chambers.
Oh, back on the west side,
Yeah, it's, I think something needs to be addressed with that at some point in time. Anyway, just things I wanted to mention. Maybe after a meeting at some point in time, we can go over and look at it.
Rick, as you're aware, you know, we're talking about the whole judicial center and how the courthouse factors into kind of the long-term vision for facilities, for courthouses, for courtrooms and everything related to the judicial system except for the jail. I wonder if we ought to just, maybe as part of that project, engage with Elevatus or somebody to take a look at that list of things and kind of give us you know, that might influence also kind of some of the discussion we've had about how we long-term vision kind of that whole, the courthouse, and be nice to have somebody, I mean, I can go over there and look at it, but I have no clue whether we've got structural issues there or not. Probably ought to just engage with a professional organization to maybe come in and just do a full assessment of that building.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea. And you know, maybe my eye isn't right either. I'm just.
I totally agree with what Steve's talking about. Matter of fact, sometimes I think when we start long-term planning, it's real easy to get the cart before the horse. I think as the council is studying the funding, the bonding, et cetera, for a facility, I think they need to know what it's gonna cost long-term to keep courthouse functional, which is 100% has to be done. So I agree 100%, Steve, with your analysis, with getting some professional.
Stan, is that something you think Elevatus could do for us? Since
Well,
they're already kind of
if they couldn't
engaged
do
in
it
that.
themselves, they could sure have somebody, a structural engineer that they would work with, so. Yeah, you know, we can approach them and,
You know,
you know, either you can contact them or I can contact them and see what it would take to give that.
Since they've already been knocking around that building, there's no use
Right.
probably in getting anybody else involved.
They've probably got as good of sense for that building, and then whatever they weren't able
Right.
to do with in-house.
They knew who to
could
reach
find.
out to.
Yeah.
Mark, if we pursue this, through Stan's, kind of a lead person on this, area, is that something that we would need to officially, approve from the commissioner's seats here to, approve a study of the courthouse?
Well, I think
Many
that-
issues? Is
I
this
think
something
we'd probably have to get a quote. See
Yeah,
what
you'd
it
have to get a
costs.
request.
Well, I know, but initially, would it
Proposal,
be, action be necessary from the board here?
Yeah, I think it would probably come out of Cume Court. You know, you've got funds in Cume Court or Cume Cap, and that's where you would use the funds or get the funds to do
Let
the,
me talk to them and
project.
see what kind of estimate they would have to do a structural assessment and just kind of do an assessment on the building.
Yeah, tell us what we've got there.
Yeah.
What,
Well,
Just
for,
like.
for the record,
Sure.
I think I'd like to make a motion that we have Stan pursue this and go from there.
And I'll come back with an estimate on what a study would involve.
Yes.
Good. Yeah.
So,
Is that a second, Stan?
Yeah.
Okay, our motion carries.
For what little 2 cents I've got, I don't care if you add on to that, I don't care if you build one wherever, you know, but these things that I'm mentioning is, I think still needs to be
It's a
done.
must.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a must.
Yeah, I agree.
Be
Be nice to know if we've got a
maybe they're,
$100,000 problem there, a $1 million problem, or what our challenges are there.
$50.
Yeah, $50, yeah.
We know better than that.
Mike Brown just came to me, and I believe he's budgeted for this. I'm doing some remodeling where the new GSI person's coming in, down in there where Ethan is. So I'm just letting you know that I think McGuell that's doing this, maybe doing some of that work. So, like I said, he's budgeted for it.
Well, and that's to be in consideration of, we're gonna have some, if the health department moves to another office, you know, we'll be doing just a little bit of rearranging in the building. So I guess I'd hate to see too much remodeling done before, without looking ahead to some of those next moves.
And that may be something that we want to talk to Mike about if you don't want to do that.
Sure.
And probably with some of these maybe possible moves, there may be a little bit accommodations to suit that office in a new location. In other words, if someone moves out of their office, they may need some things done.
But I guess that being said, with Shannon here, any updates on, I know Mike had budgeted for another GIS employee. Any updates on that search?
Yes, I made an offer at the beginning of last week, and then he came in, I believe, on Thursday to do his paperwork, which is, in my opinion, like the official, you're actually accepting kind of thing. So he's gonna start on the 31st of March.
Good.
Ethan's gonna be out for a little bit, so we wanted to give him a chance to get back, so.
And this is not a replacement for Ethan or Bob or anybody else. This is an additional employee that was budgeted for.
This is the new employee that we've been talking about for over a year.
Yeah.
Yes,
Good.
GIS tech. Yep.
That'd be the fourth, right?
Well, we've got Mike and then we've got Ethan as our GS employee right now, and then among 100 other things he does, and then we've got Bob who takes care of more of the mechanical end of it. And then we've got Sarah Fagley, who is basically the help as far as software management.
It'll be fine.
So, yeah. So, but you know, that with Ethan doing a lot of server maintenance plus the GIS duties and other things, he's pretty much swamped, so.
That's all I have at this time, gentlemen.
All right.
Thanks, Rick. Thank you, Rick. Appreciate your work. I don't see.
It's a conference.
Oh, Ed's at conference, so we're not gonna hear from Ed today. We're up to Mark. Come on down.
Simple subdivision here. Triple 200 south. Stay 1 square parcel. 40 acre parcel turned into 3 lots.
All has frontage.
You know, just as a briefing. Okay, you got 25 acres left. What happens if somebody wants to, split that 25?
It would be a major subdivision. They could make as many lots as they want when they do a major, but it does get rezoned at that time.
So
Do we have
it'd be
sewer
difficult.
down 000?
No.
And what if this person would wanna take that into 2.5s?
Same thing.
Got it.
3 is the max you can do on a minor, and once you go major, then it needs to be rezoned out of ag into R1 or C1. Or
Okay,
You have to have public services available and,
as long as you have 2 acres, you can still
Okay, okay.
have septic systems.
okay.
but you had to change zoning.
Change that.
Right, just can't have animals is really what it is, because once it's a major, you're assuming that it's homes, or businesses, or something.
I don't see any problem with this, Mark, it's got access off of 500s.
Okay.
Or 000. I move that we accept the Swartz subdivision.
Second.
Motion Doug, second Dan, passes.
I'll go along with it too, and make it 40.
All right,
Yeah,
as long as you approve.
Yeah.
Eric's approving because he wants to build up there someday.
Absolutely, yeah.
Eric Forrest.
Yep, build 18 habitat, 17 habitat houses. Build 17.
I believe that. I
I
believe it.
was gonna help paint the inside of the 19th house, but the building,
Thank you.
for it, he got
Yeah,
a
no, I got
house painter, so he did the job.
Is that Mark?
I've got these 2 rezone ordinances we'll approve here.
Okay, let's take those also.
So, yeah, we had, planning commission heard 2 petitions to rezone February the 20th. First one is petition to rezone approximately 13.011 acres. It's a lot in a subdivision. I think this is out on 200 East, maybe.
I actually don't remember what road that's on.
200. I think it's on 200, corner of 200 North. It's 200 East, I believe.
It was a rezone, it was a
Yeah.
rezone, just like what I just told you.
Right.
Yeah, it's 200 East.
Statute.
And it's a lot in a subdivision. It's actually lot number 3 in,
It was a family
Yeah,
deal.
it's 200 east, and it's, I think it's between 200 and 300 north.
Right.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
lot number 3 in Harmon Boniface Addition, which is a subdivision that was approved. So this is was a petition to rezone from ag to residential.
Right.
And so that was recommended as a due pass from the planning commission. So just, and this, the ordinance number 2025-4 that approves that rezoning. So if the commissioners, willing to approve that rezoning, it takes a motion then to adopt this ordinance 2025-04, which approves that rezoning, and it would need to be voted on unanimously to pass here today.
I was at that plan commission. I moved that we accept.
Was there any discussion or anything from planning commission members, or everybody was pretty much good with it?
Yeah, it gets, and I explained this, and you probably know all this, but even our own plan commission has had like those come, and we used to say, we weren't spot zoning in the county, but our ordinance says if you go major, you have to. So, there was a little bit of we had to like re-educate, because we hadn't done many majors. And so our plan commission has something ingrained in their head, but I'm like, we made the rule.
Yeah.
That was suggested to you guys, and then it got passed through the planning commissioners, and they're not doing it because they want to, they're doing it because we told them they had to. So there's not as much discussion because they're actually doing what we asked.
Is there a development plan that goes along with this? You know, what's gonna happen on this property once it's rezoned residential?
No.
If
They're
I
just-
recall too, Mark, if
Yeah.
I recall, we started asking some questions along that line. And the way it's set up, if there's anything further, they would have to get permission from the other 2 family members.
Yeah, if they do a little more.
It's kind of a family thing.
So to answer a question though, if it would be a major where somebody literally put in 30 lots, and now you're talking some stormwater, possibly roads.
Public
Then
sewer.
the development plan is a much different animal. If they have road frontage and the acres is so big that the single house and driveway doesn't affect stormwater, then you don't have to do anything.
What about public sewer? Does that enter into this?
As long as there's 2 acres or more, it does not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even for a major?
In a major, you can literally go out where there's absolutely no sewer anywhere, but if you get 2 acre lots,
I thought that was one of the requirements to do a major subdivision, was access to public sewer.
not public sewer, just that you have to have a proper sewer system. So that nothing goes wrong, there was a subdivision, 00900 that 15 years ago got put in, and then after they did the major and did 10 lots, they realized this wouldn't perk, this wouldn't perk, this wouldn't perk. So if they do a major with multiple lots like that, they would have to prove that there's a spot for a septic, or B, there's sewer.
Okay.
They do have to do that.
You got a motion, Stan. You want to second that?
Yeah. So
Okay, motion passes.
I'm showing that
Rezoning's good.
2 copies.
Okay.
2 copies, guys. And showing that also that all 3 voted on that. Take it, you all voted on that in favor?
Yep.
Is that correct?
Thank you.
And then there's another one, this one is another rezone that was filed by Springer Holdings LLC.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
And so this is the parcel that is 3.898 acres. This is located off of Highway 27, just north of Decatur. And it's the landscaping place that was there, that was, used to be, I think, DC Landscaping. And they,
Highway 27
yep,
maybe now.
be on the west side of 27. That was leased, it was owned, privately owned. There was, it went through an estate. Springer Holdings purchased that, and they filed a petition to rezone that from ag to C2 rural commercial zone, which makes sense.
Feels appropriate to me, yeah.
Which is proper for what they do.
That's what, it's what it should be. And there's a due pass recommendation from the Plan Commission, and this would be ordinance 2025-5. And just need a motion, by the commissioners to approve the rezoning of this parcel, and ordinance 2025-05.
I move that we accept the 2025-5 ordinance Mark's referring to.
Second. I think we have to sign that. Okay,
Go
that
down and
motion
get
passes.
signed.
Thank you.
All right.
Also 2 copies on this one.
Okay.
2 copies.
Thank you, Dave.
are there a signature line there?
Yeah, I think that's just an attachment that goes to those first couple.
Yeah, that's,
Okay. Thanks, Mark.
okay, 2
Moving
copies.
on.
Yeah.
Mark, what else have you got for us besides this?
Well, I'm looking. And, did you guys already approve the appointment of Mike as backflow technician? I can't remember if we did that, but I was thinking maybe we just.
Well,
did it
we've
as a-
done that
we have a
recently.
We did that as a contract instead of an appointment.
Yeah, state board wanted it done differently where it connects the surveyor job with that job. I don't know what that.
No, I don't
think so.
Okay, never mind. I don't have anything on that. I think that's it.
Okay. Shannon, what have you got for us this morning?
Anything.
Yeah. Okay. Moving right along, per Stan's request. Sheriff Dan.
Goody. It's a lot of.
Want to introduce Mike Barron, he's a retired sheriff, but he's working for this company now that does our sheriff app. He needs to plug into your.
Mine, sir. How are
you,
you?
Doug.
Nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, Steve Bailey.
County Commissioner.
Lawrence County, Bedford,
Bedford?
Yeah.
Oh, way down there.
way down there, yes.
Here.
Okay, we got, this is what Ethan said.
Which last name, Mike?
Windows, Windows P,
Which company?
they go to duplicate or. We have trouble.
What's the application you talked about last week, right?
Yes, sir.
You got HDMI?
I did, I have to get mine.
I don't see it. But this company is who, lots of sheriffs and other communities, counties, cities have this app, and he's gonna go through and tell you what it is. It's just,
This is the app that you use,
this
is
is
that
the app that I
correct?
use now, yes. And we can even, like, he'll show you, we can, on my app, I can put a link to the county's app, and the county app could put a link to my app, and, each department could have their own little tab within it that the citizen can go to and then can reach all, all different departments. He can,
Thank you.
they can post information on, put out a post, which people can't reply to. It's just information only. It's not a two-way communication, so you don't get into the kitty cat fights and all that other stuff, politics and all that. But our health department, our EMA, the clerk's office during voting time, it's a great way to push information out. And again, we're not getting into our network. So that's why Mike likes it. Has nothing to do with our network. It's totally separate. And, once he's up, I'll just turn it over to Mike and he'll go through a program and then, answer questions and we'll talk.
All right. Everybody hear me all right without Mike?
Yeah, good.
You all hear me okay?
Yeah.
Mike Branham, I am a retired sheriff from Lawrence County, Indiana. Spent 32 years, career guy there at the sheriff's office, which is Bedford, South Central Indiana. We were a client of the Sheriff app. OCV Apps is the parent company of several different brands. We do mostly government applications. So we do the Gov app, as you'll see on the screen there, the Sheriff app, Police app, emergency management, and so on. So when I retired, went to work for this company. I believe in what they do. They have a great team. They're based out of Auburn, Alabama. They started in the app business about 12, 15 years ago, whenever the App Store opened. They were already in business as a technology company, developing websites and so on. And then when the App Store opened, they immediately went into that field of work. So
OCD stands for?
OCD? Okay, good question. It's interesting. So they were in the technology business for a while, and they started their business.
That's a compulsive something?
Nope.
No, it's, I don't know, more mundane maybe. So they started their business originally back when, if you'll remember, probably did the same thing around here where a lot of churches started posting videos online for their parishioners who couldn't make it into to the services. So they started by doing that for their church, and then a neighboring church wanted to do it, and it just blossomed into a bigger business. And so their OCV stands for Old Church Videos.
Everyone thought of that.
Really not anything we do anymore, but it is, that's where they got their start. So then they created all these other brands once the app.
That'll win you some points there.
Well, good. Not that I mean, I guess we're always trying to win points, aren't we?
I'll have to
So
look and see how many preachers we got in the room.
One.
We've got one right here.
Oh, there you
go.
So we started developing apps for sheriff's offices, law enforcement, emergency management, kind of across the board. And really, when folks talk about getting a county-wide app, which is what you guys seem to be considering, it's really a cost savings thing because we do a lot of individual apps. We do emergency management agencies. That's part of the county government. We do health departments, part of your county government. We do clerk's offices. We have actually several here in Indiana. In fact, I'm meeting with some clerks tonight down in Fishers. They're at a conference tonight, so meet some folks down there. We've done recorders' offices. So we do all of that. And then we do some municipalities. So highway departments, parks departments, those parts, we can kind of pull all that information in. And basically we build the app so that everybody has their individual piece of that app. So that there's not one person that has to manage that. And I don't know who that would be in your county, but for us, there's always that kind of catch-all person.
Tell me the difference between an app and a website, because we've got a county website, but this sounds like a website, but apparently it's not.
It's not, and the biggest difference is this is where everybody gets information out. And it's more of a two-way communication tool than what a website is. Websites are more static. You have to have this long URL that you have to remember, or you have to Google search or whatever. And you can't notify people of what's going on at the sheriff's office. or
When I
at
get
the
an alert
clerk's
on my
office.
phone, it's probably coming from an app.
That is exactly right.
Okay.
Yes.
Difference.
So that's, and we'll get into that. I'll actually just go ahead and bump up the screen here. So, you know, what do you use? What's your communication strategy now when you are trying to get information out to your public, whether it's about a paving project that's gonna have a road closed for 8 hours during the day, or a culvert removal or something like that, or whether the sheriff's has a crash, and I know he already has his app, that, you know, that would be an instance where there's.
Recently, we had weather-related activities that we wished we could push an announcement out to
Yes,
county residents.
perfect. Snow removal is another good example of that, a way to use the app. So you can push that information out. Yes, you can use traditional media, but sorry, guys, it's a little slow. And then the other way, you can put it on your website, but people have to choose to go out and seek that information out. They're not just gonna automatically get it because you put it on your website.
Don't our schools already have that when there's a weather delay or athletic event delay?
They put it out to their parents, but the parents have to register for it.
Oh,
It's not automatic. It's not
Oh.
guaranteed. The parents still have to ask.
So how do I get this app on my phone? Do I have to register for it?
Nope, you just have to download it. We don't require any sign-on, any login, passwords, none of that. It's completely anonymous. I know there's always concerns about, particularly since we do government apps and folks are, these days are a little less, trusting of what they give as far as information to the government. So we don't have any of that. So people can feel confident that they're not being tracked. They're not gonna have their information sold or stolen to a third party. We just don't collect any of
So
that.
if I have this app and weather warning goes from yellow to orange, will
Yes.
it alert me?
Yes,
Or
so,
if there's a road closing because Nate is tearing bridges up again?
I would
We have
assume
the capability for that person over that area to put out
if we choose to push that out.
right,
yeah, National Weather Service stuff, you get automatically, if you choose to sign up for it, that's an automatic thing for tornado warnings, thunderstorm warnings, all that stuff you can have instantly. When you first initially sign up for the app, you can go in and set what you want. But as far as a road close or something like that, that's something that I would have to push out to you or Nate or whoever, because you would give each department.
So the highway and engineer would have their own tab.
Yes.
yes.
what keeps someone from putting some garbage out there?
Well, we limit, the holder of my app, I limit who has the authority to push out a notice. I won't give it to all employees. Like right now, I have my head of communications, myself, my chief, are the only 3 people that can push anything out on our app.
Yeah, but what, if it's countywide, now we got a whole bunch of people.
No, you could limit it to Brad and Paul. You could limit EMS to Barb.
There you go.
And Megan. You
Yep.
could limit.
Each tab would have control over who can push information
We
out.
basically silo off each,
Okay.
whether it's an elected office or a department of the county, we could silo that off. So your highway superintendent would be the only one pushing out information that had anything to do with the highway
Oh,
department.
we could have a commissioner tab.
You
You
could,
could, very much so.
yeah.
Yeah.
And a council tab and so forth, but
So
I would not be able to push anything out on the highway tab.
As a consumer, as a resident, as a consumer of that information, I would just have one app that I would have to download that would, all of that would come to me then.
Yeah,
Yes.
and even though Sheriff Mulhall already has his own app, we can put a link in the county app to his, so you click on it, it would open his. And then we've talked, and he would be fine with putting a link in his, and he's already got, several people who have downloaded his app, which will help with your download numbers. He can put a link to the county one within the sheriff's app.
See, that's where I
That would
thought
flip
Mike
back and
would
forth.
squeal, as far as having a link on there to the county
It's
website.
not in our network.
It's not linked to the county website.
No, this
To
is,
your app.
Okay, gotcha.
Nothing this app does has anything to do with our network.
Okay.
Zero.
That's why
Anything to do with our-
an IT person isn't here today.
Correct.
Oh.
He's already given the blessing with my app.
If we wanted to have a little notice out there on our website that says we have the app available and here's where you go to download it.
Yeah.
But there wouldn't be any
And he will give you,
connectivity.
if you choose to go with this company, they'll give you QR codes that you put on it and all you have to do is scan it and it's done.
Yeah, all your business cards, anybody that uses those, everybody's lobby, whether it's the clerk's office or recorder's office, could have a sign posted with a QR code that says download our app. And then essentially, big picture, long term, the goal would be to reduce the number of calls, reduce the number of walk-ins that are coming into everybody's office, because they're gonna know that that information is right there on their phone, in their hand, wherever they're sitting, whether they're sitting in their recliner or they're sitting at a McDonald's having a quarter pounder. They're gonna have that information right there.
Let's say people download this app and we have a commissioner tab. Can somebody go on there and contact the commissioner and say, I've got too many potholes on my?
I will actually show you a good example of that. Hartford City is an app we just released.
I mean, not that anybody would do that.
And so what they did is we can build custom reporting tabs. So theirs says report it, and it's a custom form, so somebody can fill out information on the location, what the problem is. Is it a pothole? Is it a culvert that's washing out? They can actually add the GPS coordinates and they can take a photo of it all for the app. And then they can send that to whoever you all designate. So
Doesn't the city have something like that?
Not that I'm aware of.
Cause I thought they have something where you can report a problem.
I think City of Fort Wayne does. I've read about it.
I thought.
They talk about
I know
guaranteed
City
8
has-
hours.
I'd be interested in knowing what the charge is here.
I'm sorry.
Oh, it's free.
You'll get there.
Yeah, get that back up on the screen here. So as Sheriff had mentioned, the social media part of it, you don't get that negative part. You control your message. You're sending out what you want sent out. You're not getting that negative back and forth that you inevitably get, no matter what you put out there. I mean, you cure cancer and somebody will have something bad to say about it. So this, okay, good, you can see that. I didn't even realize there was a screen behind us. So this is an example. This is a mock-up for Adams County government. We do completely customize your app, so it doesn't necessarily have to look like this. And I can't scroll a mock-up, but this would scroll down and include every office and department that I looked at your website and pulled this information off. So each one, there would be a presence for the county commissioners. There would be a presence for the council. That would be a place where you could put your agendas.
So like the clerk could put up-to-date election information.
That's it. We have clerks all over the state, really all over the Midwest, and elections is a big part of that.
Or like HR, and I don't know, we've used Indeed. I don't know if HR would put positions available, or maybe that wouldn't be appropriate on this app.
Good, yeah.
You could just, your audience for that isn't as big as Indeed. Indeed is nationally, so you might,
Right.
but you could do both.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and we use it as a recruiting tool. If you have recruiting videos, we have a lot of sheriff's offices that will put their recruiting videos on there, and then the jobs that are posted and the job descriptions, and then
Mark,
applications.
this wouldn't qualify for when we have to advertise for a public meeting, would it?
Think so. No, you still have to comply with the statute, but I mean, you can still post them on there.
Yeah, we, post your agenda, post your meeting minutes, you could keep all of those, and we could even look, I don't know what you're doing for the new live meeting requirements that are coming up, if you've got a plan yet, but whatever that plan ends up being, we can incorporate that in some way into the app. Whether it's a YouTube channel or some other third party, we can pull that into the app, and that way people, again, we want to be a one-stop shop for your agency. So whether that's.
And not to jump ahead in your presentation, but, assuming there is a cost, does the cost change with the more tabs we put on this thing?
It's
cost. Yeah. but-
It's based on, our costs are based on population, county population or city population, depending on what we're building. And that just gives us a general idea of the amount of activity, the number of people that'll be on there, and kind of the load on our systems as far as activity goes, and then any integrations. So the sheriff's office has integrations on his for inmate search, or you might have the CAD system, calls for service, that are, that's an integration, the sex offender database, that's an integration. There aren't a lot of integrations with most other county government. Now, if there are some, there might be some additional costs. Typically, there's not. Actually, your app for every other office in the county is, I looked at what Dan paid for his a few years ago. This will actually be just a little bit cheaper, just because there's no integrations. So
when you talk about integration, that doesn't mean adding tabs for each department.
no, we can make it.
Integration is, he's talking, cause I have, prisoner photos, I have calls for service and the sex offender registry. That's an outside vendor. They have to make a bridge to pull that data.
Yeah.
So that's why there's extra cost for that. Your type of stuff, there is no integration. So, and adding a link to like the county's YouTube channel to watch our county meetings, that's not integration, that's just a link. So there's not, it's not expensive.
Right.
If you were presenting this to a county that did not already have a sheriff's department integrated, that already have a sheriff's department that was up in your app, would you be presenting this as a countywide solution that included the sheriff's department? Or do you always carve that out and create that separately?
There's too much
I got it.
with the sheriff's office.
Okay.
Really,
You don't.
the amount of
You don't
information.
put that as a package.
Yeah,
regularly.
it's really kind of too much to try to cram in an app, once you add the sheriff's office, because that's quite a bit. Now, I'm not saying it can't be done, but
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I'm just thinking about pricing.
Yeah.
See, if it's cheaper by the dozen, you know, if we throw the
Not
sheriff's
expensive
app in
because of
there.
integration,
Yeah.
because they have to build bridges with the third party vendors to get that information passed over.
Yeah, my concern is, you know, and I'm a little bit old fashioned.
Mm.
I still like to speak with people on the phone.
Yeah,
I still like it, you know, and I think the people I speak with appreciate it.
agree.
And the people who want to do that still can do that, but your younger generations,
I
they
know,
don't.
They don't want to.
I know, but they don't read either.
But they do pay attention to this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm with you. I would 100 times rather talk to somebody on the phone. But my daughter, who's 27,
I
28
get
years
it,
old,
I get it.
she'd just about rather stick needles in her eyelids than talk to people on the phone. She doesn't.
And I, you know, the one thing I don't like, we recently went on vacation and was in a couple major airports. And if
Uh-huh.
you're not looking where you're walking, you're gonna walk into people because all they're doing is this, literally.
Shannon, do we already have a solution that you communicate with county employees on?
Yes, only on major stuff though.
Right.
It's just on weather alerts, and like major reminders. It's called-
So would we be able to, do you think we'd be able to walk away from that solution and put it into this solution?
I think so, yeah.
I would think so too. So whatever cost we see here, I think we could factor in the fact that we're gonna drop one what they're already paying for.
And do you use any other mass notification tools like
So, no.
Code Red or?
we used to, but they were grant funded and grants ran out and we didn't get, a good community backing from it, so we didn't have a high percentage of sign up. I have more people on my app than I ever had on the countywide alert.
That's pretty typical. We have a lot of sheriffs who, the county has Code Red, and when the sheriff gets the app, they end up dropping Code Red. And something similar on this mass notification. So we can set up internal notification channels within the app that are PIN protected. You would give that PIN code to your employees, and then you could send notifications directly to employees. And we can break that down into as many groups as you want. So if you want that to be a countywide one, and then if you want a highway department one for, you know, snow removals and other weather emergencies to get those crews out, we can do that too.
So Brad could use that to communicate with his road crews, say,
I have a group just for my deputies and stuff like that. I can send them a message.
interesting, really interesting.
Yeah, so there, yeah, it can be used as a communication tool internally and externally, so which is a great thing. And I'm just showing you these apps because Porter County, that's a recorder's office app we built, so there are instances where we build a lot of individual apps. There's a health department, there's a clerk's office, your neighbor in Wells County. She just started her app last year and used it during the elections and had some good results as far as
Yeah.
that they are able to do.
Well,
But that's
I
just a
kind
few
of like
things.
what I'm hearing, but on the other hand, you can never, no matter how much communication you have in place, no matter how many apps you have, there is no guarantee that everyone's getting the information they need.
You're right.
And we're still not gonna drop this partnership that we have right here. I still send them press releases and stuff, same press release I push out on my app, so
Yeah.
we're never giving up on our local
Right.
radio and newspapers.
Okay.
We still do that.
It's that way with every single system we have. Look at tornado sirens. I can't hear any tornado sirens from my house.
Yeah.
You know, am I being, discouraged?
I would just like, I'm an educator by,
You know, you do the
by
best you
career.
can. but-
And I am for anything, I don't care if you're young or old. Anything that causes people to read is a plus.
Yes, 100%. I agree with that.
This feels to be more appropriate for those things you want an immediate notification on. Where time is of the essence, whether it's changing in road conditions, whether it's some kind of a weather alert, whether it's I think about the times when the courthouse is closed or when our county services are closed. Be nice if we could send out, and say, hey, as a reminder, we're closed. All county offices are closed for President's Day.
I mean, I think about when I get phone calls, somebody will call me, hey, did we go to a code red? And I'm
Yeah.
sitting there trying to find the information, or, hey, when does early voting start? Or is the dump closed today? Blah, 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 blah. So I'm sitting there trying to fish around for this information.
It'll all be in one place.
Yeah, I was out at the dump, yesterday. I noticed they got a sign on their board that says closed on Thursday. I'm thinking, really? Who's gonna know that other than somebody that came, that
Driving
drove
up.
in here? How am I gonna know that?
Yeah.
So if they could put that
Well,
information out, that'd be
I'm still a firm
interesting.
believer, even though I know our young people are on it all the time. A lot of the stuff they're on, gotta be juicy and gossip. They pay attention to something that's valuable. I don't know.
Well, I'll give you an example. And I actually just gave this example at the Sheriff's Association meeting last week. The most successful apps we have they do two things really well, and that's market it. And we will provide you marketing. I'll get to that here in just a second. Market it when it's released and continue to market it periodically as long as you have it. And then the other thing is to be proactive with sending out those push notifications, because you want to keep people engaged with the app.
See,
So
this
sending
is
out
what he's
push
talking about, push
notifications.
notification.
Even if it's
That right there.
something as
I mean,
simple
it
as,
comes. I don't have to
something
do
good that's
anything to get it.
happening.
It's gonna
Hired a
come to
new
me
employee
regardless of
that's
what
over the
and it comes
GIS.
when even my phone is,
Post,
so when I
put
pick my
something
phone up,
together,
I
a
see it.
small post about that.
So it would
Somebody's
be-
gonna have to push it out.
And
Well,
then
that's what-
when that information is out there, you'll have that, people continuously engaged. And that way they're talking about it and they're talking to their neighbor. Oh, did you see this where they hired a new GIS person at the county? Oh, no, I didn't know that app even existed. They're downloading it, and that becomes viral. And then when you really have an emergency and you need to get information out to as many people as possible, you can do that. So the example I was going to use is Steuben County. Steuben County is about 35,000. They're not terribly far
Like
from
us,
here.
yeah.
The sheriff there did a really great job at the beginning when they started their app of sending out marketing this information and getting people on board and going around to local restaurants and posting signs, QR codes, all of that stuff. Got a lot of downloads. And he's got about 20,000 downloads in a county of 30,000 population. Pretty good when you figure, a lot of those people are kids. They don't have smartphones or really could care less what's going on with the sheriff's office. And then the other thing they did they were proactive, and they're pushing out 2 or 3 or 4 notifications a week, whether it's an emergency or not. They're putting information out, be safe on 4th of July with fireworks, boating safety, whatever it might be. So they're proactive in that, and they are getting, county of 35,000, they're getting on 350 to 400,000 interactions a week on their app. So
That means people checking it on anything that they tap on and open it up on their phone is what he's
Yeah. So
That's-
you're
that's a
keeping them
ton.
really engaged. And so the control panel you see here, and I'll be really brief, but this is kind of where the backbone of the app will be, whoever you put in charge of running that. There's advanced analytics. You'll be able to see who's clicking on what. So if you want to go and review, you know, how often are people getting on the app? How many downloads do you have? How many people are clicking on the clerk's office, the prosecutor's office, the courts? You'll be able to see that. And then if you know, you want to do things and you need to market something that you think is important, then that gives you good information to do that. You can schedule push notifications ahead of time. We can integrate with social media if that's something you want to do. For most, the long-term plan is to just, this will replace your social media. The goal is you don't want to have to deal with the garbage on social media in the long run. And if you do a good enough job on the app, then you get rid of that altogether. So this is just an example push notification. You know how it pops up on your screen. I've probably got something on mine while I've been sitting here. Shockingly, no. But you know, those pop up, and when you click on that, it pulls you into the app. And that's why sending push notifications proactively is important. It pulls people into the app, and then
That creates that touch.
yes, for sure. You can go back and look at your alert histories. They will be able to choose from whatever notification channels. So if you do an app that has a notification channels for the clerk's office, for the prosecutor's office, for highway department,
So they turn those on,
then
turn
they
those
can
off.
choose what they want to get information about. You know, if they're not interested in hearing information from certain offices, they can shut those off if they want. You control also the weather notifications, so you can go in and set those to, you know, severe, more severe, less severe, whichever notifications you want to go out to the public. So you have full control of that as well. And then the last thing I'll say is we do provide marketing for you. We don't just create a turnkey product and then not just leave you to figure out how to market it. We'll create a marketing kit that includes digital media so that you can take, if you want to get business cards printed, if you want to get flyers, posters, whatever, QR codes printed, anything, you can just pull those digital files. We provide all of that already made up, and you can take them to a local printer and have them printed. I mean, I'll sell them to you if you want me to. It'll probably cost you twice as much as getting it done at a local printer. And you probably want to get it done at a local printer. I know I always did want to keep my money local.
Okay, out of 92 counties, how many of the counties are on something, and specifically how many are with OCV?
We have 65 clients in Indiana. We have 1,200 clients across the US
Might be
and Canada.
cities instead of counties or something.
It's a mix. We have the majority of our business is in the sheriff's office. I mean, by far, probably 2/3 of our business. In Indiana, it's a higher percentage than that. We have 3 cities, municipal apps in Indiana right now. We have one other countywide app with one other county looking right now at doing the same thing that you're talking about. That's just in Indiana, and all over the country we have.
But there's other firms that are competing with you in counties.
Yes and no, not that do what we do really. There are companies that will, I'll put it this way. We build apps, and if you want a website, we'll build you a website that is good, but we are excellent at building apps. Most of the other companies that are building apps are website developers that do great websites and do pretty good apps. So our focus is on building apps, not on building websites. So and we're better at it, just quite frankly.
In the towns and the cities and county apps, I'd say probably the last, 18 months is when that has really started to get more popular, because they're seeing it coming from the sheriffs and say, well, we need something like that too. And so I think it's only gonna continue to grow more as far as the town, cities and counties doing the same thing. Cause again, go back to they'll say it's one-stop shopping. Our website, you don't have to have, the website, you have to have a computer. I mean, something like that. This is one touch and you're there, and it's very simple. Their support is good. When we have issues, we call, if you wanna tweak something and change the backbone, the build of it, they do it. It's been very good. I know you don't like the phone calls. I don't like, you like phone calls. I don't like phone calls coming to the office all the time. It has cut down our phone calls immensely. Cause people call, is so-and-so in jail? What do you get in trouble for? Go to the app, and and then I never hear from them again.
Yeah.
So, the upfront, I know you guys want, the upfront costs can be a little salty, but then after that's built, the maintenance is inexpensive.
So I'll, if you're ready, we can go over some pricing unless you have other questions.
Let's take a look at
Okay.
it.
I know I've talked a little bit. So here we go. So what you're looking at there is the year one total would be 14,826. So that would be developing an app for the Apple iOS platform and then for the Android market as well. So we develop both of those, and then your annual maintenance and support after that is $5,295. And that's because Adams County is already a client with the sheriff's app, we provided a 10% discount off of that year one cost to bring it down under 15 for you. We can, if it is something you're interested in, typically the way we do that is a 3-year contract. We can make that shorter or longer, depending on what your interests are. And then we can also, that year one cost, if it's something you would want to break up, we could do that 30 days after, invoice 30 days after contract signing. Would do 50% and then 50% on completion, if that makes it a little easier. So that's some options we can work with.
Do you guys understand the Android and the Apple? Because depending what phone you have, depends what you can use, so you gotta build both.
And it, as you know, every year they're releasing new phones, and then you're always having to update your operating system on your phones. That's part of the support cost, is no matter what changes with these phone companies, we will keep your app up to date so that it works on the newest phone, the newest operating system. There's no additional cost. And Sheriff kind of hit on it, but yesterday I was in Howard County. They're customers of ours, and they have our website and our app, and we just did an app review. We will try to do an app review with you at least once a year, where we'll sit down with you, whether it's a Zoom meeting or in person, and go over everything, make sure you're happy with everything and how it's working. If there's anything new we offer, we'll recommend, some changes, and we'll look through the analytics and see where we can make improvements. So we try to do that annually. That's included in that cost. And if you want to completely rebuild the app and you say, I don't like it the way it is, we want to get rid of this, we want to add this, and it's a complete rebuild, we'll do that. It doesn't cost you anything. That's part of that annual support.
Good.
There's no surprises. And that's my spiel. Sorry, it took a little longer than
Good job.
I expected.
Hey, Mike, there can be innumerable apps on the website, right? The county website. You can list 15, 20, 30 apps and just plug them in and boom, 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 go.
Well, as many offices, yes. Yeah.
Tabs,
Yeah.
tabs inside the app.
Yeah.
Each office would have a tab
On the internet, on the website.
on the app.
Yeah.
I'm confused. You go to the website, right?
You go into an app. A website, you have to have a computer. This you're doing from your phone.
Yeah.
There's no logins. I mean,
What comes first, a tab or an app?
you build the app, and inside the app are tabs. So the clerk's office would have a tab, the commissioners would have a tab. You tap on that, and then you only get their information.
So you get an app first, and you go into it to get a tab for that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Tabs build the app.
But the app will be on the website.
App is in the App Store.
Yeah, it will be on the
On
website.
the website, you got an app on the website?
Oh, God. I would
We
take
can
that
put,
back
we
a
can
minute.
put
A link.
we'll put information on your website to download the app.
Yeah.
We can create that marketing piece for people, but the main thing is.
Oh, personally, I don't know.
You gotta have a
So-
smartphone,
so
Eric.
here's- I just had this one pulled up. So this is Hartford City.
Eric, man.
So they have, this is their app,
Yeah.
and then these are the tabs within the app. So that's the police department. That's the fire department.
So you can do that, you go from the app to the tab.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it'll have each agency within the county government.
And then
Have
also,
their own
also you
section.
said this is a two-way communication tool, but Dan wants this to be one-way.
Well,
Can you-
you can't hold conversations on it. I have a tip line. People can submit tips to me.
Yeah.
And then only certain people see those, and I disseminate them out how they need to go to. But I can't sit there and say, hey, how are you today? And you say, oh, I'm fine, I'm doing good. Oh, I hate your politics. I don't like this. I didn't vote for Trump or I didn't. You don't have that type of banter.
But I can use the two-way communication tool. You have to quote I wrote down.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, because people are able to communicate to you using a custom form, like the reported thing that I showed you, like the submit a tip that Dayton uses with this app.
So do schools get involved with this stuff? I mean, schools could really, I mean, they have a 2-hour delay, then it goes to a cancellation.
They do that through a parent sign up. It's kind of like a group texting. You can get a phone call or you can get a text or you can get both. But that's something the school sets up and the parents, again, they have to register for that, but it only goes to them. And it's kind of similar. You have to register for us, but I don't need your name. I don't need your email. I don't need your phone number. You tap it. I'm not getting any personal information of you to sign up for our app. The schools, you have to give personal information. Apps, you don't have. This app, you don't have to. And that's one reason why people like it and why people give me tips, because they know I can't trace it back to them if they want to stay anonymous. They trust it, because I'm not asking for that personal information.
So what keeps, I mean, everything you have is scannable. What keeps this from being scannable?
We need scannable.
Scam.
Scam.
Well, because they have a robust security. You'd have to hack into them to be able to get that, or to get to the point where you could push out a notification. And so that's their in-house security. And then
And we have
nothing to
someone-
do with our county network security.
Have that paper if you want, if you'd like to see what those security measures are. We also have a similar paper. We are ADA compliant, so our apps are compliant with the most current, and actually we're kind of ahead of the curve on some future ADA requirements that are coming down the road for apps. So you don't have, those are things you won't have to worry about.
So Mike, do you have the financial quote stuff on paper that you can hand out to these guys, or email it to me and I can email it to them?
I've got,
Here's my email
Okay.
address, if you can send it to me.
I will.
One of your cards. I'll
Yes.
shoot you an email.
Let me grab it.
Basically, what I'm asking is you guys to take this under advisement, to see if you guys talk about it, ask questions, and to see if this is something the county wants to move towards. But I do know for sure that,
Thank you.
head of EMA, head of clerk, head of the health department, they're begging for something like this because Mike is not allowing them to have social media accounts separate because of the network issues, and this satisfies all that security needs. It really does. So I'm asking to take it under advisement. We'll let you take a look at this and hopefully in a couple of weeks, make a decision. If that's the case, then like I said, then their team reaches out to our independent department heads to gain the information they want, and then it'll actually be you three that would determine the look of the page, that design of how you want that to, or you give that authority to somebody else with the team. It depends on how much you want to be involved with that aspect.
What's the name of that
company the contract would be with?
OCV,
OCD?
OCD.
OCV.
Ocean Charles Victor, Old Church
Old
Picture.
Church. So it's OCV Incorporated or
LLC.
LLC?
Yeah.
All right.
I'll get you, I have, I think the email, Steve, are you the president? Okay, I think that's whose email I have.
If you'd email it to Steve and to
And,
Mark,
okay,
and they will disseminate the others.
okay.
Well, Mike, thanks for coming.
Thank
This
you.
is certainly something that, I know I'm interested in. I think any way we can communicate better with our residents, especially in issues that are time sensitive, I think it's helpful. I think it just adds another layer of transparency of what we're trying to do and what's going on. And I know when we've got EMA in here and we're talking about those kind of emergency management types of events and things that they get involved in,
Yeah.
they are begging for a way that they can more quickly and efficiently, effectively communicate with the residents of Adams County. I think this is an option that I think we need to consider. How we fund it, how we pay for it. There may be some grants available. There may be some things that we can work with. You know, obviously that's a pretty big number for us, especially that first year build out cost.
Mhm.
But
I would make it on that point.
Yeah.
We have had a lot of success with opioid settlement funds being used
Sure.
to develop our app. We have a group of, features and sub-menu items that we could incorporate into the health department section that might help, offset that. And I don't know how you guys, did on that. But
Sure.
Every county and
Yeah.
agency.
good option. Glad you mentioned that.
And also, the health department too, they had some grant going out to the schools for some stuff that they picked up and paid for stuff. And this could easily fall under that.
And I know EMA, we're just working with grant money there all the time. So I don't think this necessarily has to come out of our general fund budget. But I just think it's worth pursuing and I appreciate you helping us understand.
And due to his presentation at the conference last week, some of these counties like Steuben County, their numbers blew me away, made me feel bad. I'm failing with my app.
Yeah. Well, I need to get your app, so I want to make sure I get your app.
You're gonna start hearing about it a whole lot. I'm gonna
Okay.
be doing a media blitz,
Good.
for sure, because like I said, his numbers were blowing me out of the water for someone very comparable. Now, in the summertime, it then blows up because of the lakes, but
Yeah.
normal population, they're destroying me, and I take that as a personal challenge, because I'm gonna beat RJ.
Well, I still think, you know, our weekly commissioners meetings are very important. Our drainage meetings are very important in person. Our plan commission, now, I don't want to give any of that up.
Oh, I agree.
Zero.
No, you're not, but if people wanna find out about them, they have a much easier way of doing that.
I concur with that.
Yeah, so.
Good.
John.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate you coming out. That's the end of our agenda. Anybody in the public have anything they need to add? What did we miss? Anything? If not, I think we're looking for a motion to adjourn, guys. Unless you guys, wait, you have something?
No, not really. I had a CMHC meeting last night and they are very interested in getting better communication with our JRAC and community corrections groups. And so I've invited them down
Good.
to get better communication there. So
Are you getting emails, Doug, to your government email address? Are you receiving those? Is it D Bauman?
Yeah, I'll give it to you here in a minute.
Good. Doug,
Yeah,
anything?
I don't have
For
anything
good
else.
cause?
We had,
I move we adjourn.
Okay, motion to adjourn.
second.
Second, we're adjourned. Thanks, everybody.